What's up, traders? Matt from the Trade Brigade here doing a technical analysis on ticker symbol MKD for Molecular Data Company. On the left-hand side, we do have the daily time frame, and on the right-hand side, we have the 30-minute intraday time frame. First things first, because we have yet to cover this one on the channel, let's start by giving ourselves a daily roadmap of obvious areas of support and resistance. Then we'll talk more nuance when we drill down to the 30-minute intraday time frame. So that's what I'm seeing very quickly from the daily, noting that we tried and made an attempt to fill this overhead gap here, but obviously we reversed lower on today's session. I also want to scrunch this up just a bit and sort of see if this is any useful. So let's take out the resistance trendline tool, come in from the highs, and doing something like this. But would you look at that, right? So pretty darn good fit, noting that this is the anchor, touch sort of 1 here, 2 definitely here, and 3 on today's session. So I do like that as a resistance trend line. It's not to say that we can't go higher, but we are in a fairly aggressive downtrend here inside of this stock. So please just keep that in the back of your brain. What are we seeing in terms of volume? Well, certainly an increase in volume, increase in interest in this stock. So if this is technically a low float stock and you continue to see volume on par with what we've seen in the past 2 days, there is a potential, move that can unfold higher simply based on supply and demand, right? What else are we seeing from the 30-minute intraday time frame in terms of nuance? Not a whole lot of structure or, respectable patterns that were put in on today's session. I will point out that in the post-market session, we are trading up towards 0.3934, so that's going to be towards today's high, so right around in here. It's not like we're opening down here towards the lows of the session and the close. So keep in mind, this could be a gap up by the time 9:30 rolls around. The first overhead target, as we know, is coming from the daily gap. That's going to be at 0.4201. And then after that, you can see there's quite a ways to run. I would argue and treat this as an overall range in that if we accept back inside of it, the target should be the top end at 0.5195. Keep in mind, 50 cents may act as a psychological resistance on something that is trading sub 1. Now, what I want to get into next is more in terms of psychology here. Just because this is trading underneath 50 cents as of right now, please do not just go in and buy as many shares as you can just because it's cheap, right? Just because something's cheap, it doesn't mean that it has to only go up. It also doesn't mean that your risk is small because it's cheap. Don't forget, right, that a 10-cent move here is massive, right? That's 20% position swing. So be prepared for that in your P&L if you're just going all in based on the price of the stock, not so much the potential for it to move. To the downside, I would not be interested in this trade if we break down underneath 0.3371, noting that it was the high of this prior run. The high of the day was here, technically. It was the high of the prior run and the pullback low from today's session, today's low of day. If we break down underneath, not interested because I would argue we come back down into some of this floor area in here. Let's just call it 25 cents for a nice round number, splitting the difference of where all this value has been built. So those are my thoughts here. Really going to depend on volume and whether or not we can get a breakout up and over today's high, fill the remainder of the gap, and then move higher into this overall range from in here. If you enjoyed the video or learned anything new today, definitely let me know down below in the comments section or by giving the video a thumbs up. Don't forget our main channel is linked in the description, and all of that being said, I wish you a green trading week.